Good evening and welcome to a new edition of To The Point. This evening we're going to be discussing women in Egypt, the opportunities, challenges, how far have they come and what needs to be done to empower Egyptian women. With us this evening is a very distinguished lady who contributed a lot to different aspects of Egyptian political and economic development. That lady is an example of how women in Egypt have been empowered, and the power, and I'm stressing the word power, that is in the hands of females in Egypt. With us is Dr Mai Al Batran. Suffice it to say, she is a foresight expert in politics, economics, technology, among so many other hats.
It's a pleasure being here.
A pleasure to have you with us on To The Point. Generally speaking, before we go into details, in your opinion, as an Egyptian female, as a female that managed to land herself in places which we as females aspired to reach.
Alhamdulillah.
How do you see the progression? How far have we come, in your opinion?
How far have we come? Well, thank you very much for the introduction, and I want to say that we came farther down this line before. I like to say again, in your introduction, you are talking about a role model for females that I am honored to be one, and looking backwards. Having a role model like, for example, since we are in the month of Ramadan, Sayyida Khadija, this is the women power that I aspire to. A woman that has an impact on her society, that has an impact on her personal family, that has an impact on the world since that time. She helped her husband in a cause, in a vision, in changing the world forever and ever. Yes. And that's the sort of importance of a role model. So coming down from there, as an Egyptian, looking at role models like Hatshepsut, this powerful female governing a country such as Egypt with its civilization, its culture, its power, its all of this is the women power, and all of this as an Egyptian, we were that women. We have the DNA of those powerful women in us as Egyptian ladies and young ladies. And that is why this is the message I'm trying to give to everybody. You are capable because you have it in you. We have it in you as an Egyptian. We have it in you as a civilization that is old enough, that's the oldest in the world. You have it in you as a religious people, because also we have the role model of Sayyida Maryam. And the strength of going sometimes against society into having a cause. So this is the role modeling, and this is where we were. So where we've become today, we definitely are living in a very positive time for young females and for females in general, for ladies, for Egyptian ladies, for scientists, for lawmakers, for judges and women working in the judiciary system, for politicians, women politicians. All of this is positive. I'm really thankful, and as you know, I had the honor of being the youngest of, I believe, 5 or 6 females in the history of the Egyptian parliament, chairing a committee, and that was a big deal. So that was a ceiling, a glass ceiling that was broken, and I hope that other younger females and other females will join within the line of managing a sector within parliament, within the legislative system, to take the country forward and forge laws to take the country forward for women and for all the people of Egypt.
You just raised the issue of laws. And maybe I'm going to jump back and forth in the discussion because you raised a very, very important issue. What we lack to progress further, is it laws or is it application of the law? Where is the problem? Is it a cultural issue whereby we're refusing to apply? Is it a cultural issue whereby some of us females are not strong believers of where we should be or aware of where we should be. We cannot ignore that sometimes the lack of progress is due to our habits or our cultural comfort zone. Cultural comfort zone. Or is it that we really need to change some laws?
I'll tell you something, it's a combination. We are living in a positive time, but there isn't a situation that is totally positive. There is always, in our situation now for women in Egypt, it's positive. We have having the culture comfort zone like you just mentioned, and we have the weight of the responsibility. The responsibility, because as empowered females in Egypt now, the empowerment is halfway through. But actually carrying the weight of the responsibility, being the first judge or the first group of females in a judiciary system, forging the way for other women, that's a huge responsibility. Because success, you reach the top is easy, but maintaining that success and maintaining the level of the top is not easy. So one, we have to take on the responsibility extremely seriously. It's not only about me, it's about other women following in those footsteps and making it further than what I've done, what you have done, albeit it was a lot. So the responsibility is important. And looking forward to the future, working together, the whole community working together, it's a teamwork effort. Talking about laws are there to empower, for sure. We have had fantastic laws to make sure that the lady is safe in her surroundings. Not only now that the ladies and the women of Egypt go out into the street, so we make sure that she is safe when she is on the street, not only as a citizen with rights, but as a female citizen with an extra right or responsibility of freedom and security. So I have to be secure, sitting in a public transportation system, walking on the streets, and so on. That's important. And these laws are enforcing that security aspect. The security of the laws or the executive orders empowering women or facilitating for women working and employees having children, whether they have a husband or they don't have a husband. So making things easier for the woman who is working. So it's again the environment. So the environment enhances her security, enhances the ease of her working environment with her children around, the ease of also, and a very important law that has been also adopted and the community is going, it's enforcing or facilitating the a family of adoption. So you can adopt as a family a child. So it's enforcing the communal, the family impact of a community helping each other out. So I'm not helping orphanages or people without parents in orphanages or in homes for people without young children without parents. I am taking in the child within my own family and treating it as my own. Yes. That is all. It is looking for the future. It is looking for a future of integrated community, looking out for each other with ethics and values of hope, of teamwork, of empowerment, of security, and of hard work, of course.
We've had a president, since he came to office, he really has had quite a few positive words and rules, regulations, even activities that propagate and help empower women. Egypt has a vision in 2030. How do you see the women component in this vision? Because gender equality is one of the key components of that vision.
Of course. Well, not only that gender equality is a key component in the number 5 of the development goals and the sustainable development goals and 2030 strategy, but women is a main pillar within any society.
Yes.
And particularly in our case, the Egyptian society. So when we're looking about not only the current government and our current, the state of Egypt now is recognizing the role of women in the making of the new Egypt in 30th of June revolution, having been part of, she was an integral part in keeping the identity and culture of Egypt. And the identity and culture...
She was a key part.
Of course, a key part, definitely. And in doing so, you know, she was a key part, taking your wording into this, she was a key part into maintaining national security.
Exactly.
Because your identity is part of the national security
Definitely.
of your country. So recognizing that important role of women, going forward, so she was part of the glory being made,
yes.
and then of the steps of the new republic, of the steps of the future, with her values, with her principles, with her tenacity, with her even going against the current, you know, yes. to guard what? To guard her own family. Her small family, her husband, her children, her father, her mother, guarding the small family, and ultimately guarding the street, the small community, and ultimately the country, the whole country. So each woman in her own place, guarding her own circle. Eventually we agree with each other without really agreeing that this is what we want. We want to make sure that it's secure for our husbands to move around, for our fathers to come back safe, for our daughters to go to university or to go to school safely, for our sons to progress in their life happily and securely. So all of this, so the women are part of the glory, and they are part of the future of our country with the values of hard work, teamwork in the community. And this is very important. We women don't shy of hard work. We like to do it. So this is extremely important. And I'm extremely proud of belonging to a group of females who are really working hard, such as yourself and many, many other women, role models. Role models, and you know, the role models are not only for younger people, but role models are for us when the times become hard. You know, you look up and you see a friend keeping at her hard work, and that's also very important. I'm always hopeful.
Education, let us start at an early stage. In your opinion, what needs to be done to ensure that in schools we start to remove the cultural norms that are hindering progress? And when I say cultural norms, I don't just mean cultural norms that are impacting the way men or the male thinks, but even the way the female thinks, because it's a 50-50 thing. Some of the females are the cause of why there is a ceiling to certain progress.
That's a tough one. I believe, but it's an important question. I believe it's very important to erase ignorance and enhance education. And by education, it's not the ABCs of the reading and writing part of education, but it's the education of one's rights. You were mentioning before we went on air that it's important for the women to know their rights, to know where they stand as an employee, as a wife, as a citizen. Where do we stand? What is our rights as women? What is our rights as Egyptian citizens? What is my right in each and every stage of my life, whether be it socially, economically, politically? So it's very important to start with knowing your rights, but also knowing your responsibilities and knowing what you should do to maintain those rights and to earn these rights. So you are teaching the young children of Egypt, the young ladies and the young girls of Egypt, that they have rights, but they have also responsibilities to do. And when you put this in a young child, they grow up understanding that there is a balance. It's not about taking and it's not about giving all the way. So this is what you have to, what we all together have to work with into making tomorrow better for all of us.
What, in your opinion, do we need to equip women with skills to match competitive days? Nowadays, it's quite competitive.
Of course.
And females need to catch up.
I'll tell you something, that's a very nice question, one that I like always to answer, and that doesn't only apply for females. We are living in competitive times, but we are living in a shift. And shifts are always positive if you are a positive person. So we are living in the fourth industrial revolution. We are living at a time where technology and communication integrate with each other to create a revolution. And revolution is a new state. You have a transitional state and then it goes to a new norm. So the new norm, it's about the component of technology. What can technology do? What has it done to our societies? And what are the opportunities that it opened up for work opportunities, for opportunities for the jobs of the future, for opportunities for entrepreneurs, for opportunities for SMEs, young businesses, small and micro businesses even. Can I, as a female villager, can technology help me? Of course, it can help you in this competitive market of small cultural products, maybe food, small, simple foodstuffs that are being sold, maybe online. And then for the young entrepreneur with ideas, we have a female young entrepreneur that did Taxi Sahel, the taxi of the North Coast. And then it turned into, she was acquired by an international company, and it turned into an application and competed. So that's an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur using technology. And then you've got the jobs of the future. The jobs for the scientists, which is very important for the future, the jobs for the technology expert, the jobs for the female hacker / protector of the digital transformation time. So all of these, yes, we are looking into a competitive future, but we are looking at a competitive future with a lot of chances and opportunities for young people, not only female, young people of Egypt, well equipped for the marketplace of tomorrow.
Technology, it hit us quite recently how important and how we cannot stay behind. One of the things we noticed with COVID, for example, and the fact that kids had to learn from home, people had to work from home, is that you really cannot ignore technological advancement. And if you're not aware, then you just don't exist anymore. How can we ensure that females are capturing, being well educated about the technological advancement?
You mentioned COVID, and to every cloud there is a silver lining. COVID was a very interesting time, hard time. We lost a lot of many people and human life for COVID. But at the same time, COVID, like you say, like the 2011 made everybody aware of Facebook and the power of Facebook, COVID made everybody aware that remote anything is there.
Important.
Remote meetings, remote education, our remote existence in general. That technology is there to make life safer in extreme cases such as COVID. So that was, it made everybody aware. So, or it helped a long way to make the communities, local communities and international communities aware that, wow, this has an impact and it can help us make our lives better or make the lives of our people better. So this helped in a great way. And then we go back to schools, we go back to teaching, we go back to community courses. The program that we have now of Haya Karima has got a component of family enhancement.
Yes.
And so there is a huge component of awareness in that. and technology has quite a role. You know that Haya Karima, it's got the
Decent Life Initiative for those who are not.
and Villagers Card, which is a technology component. They've got ATM machines in villages. They've got the high-speed internet that helped, and many of the governmental / agricultural products given via a technology software and a smart card. And all of these is enhancing the role of technology, and again creating opportunity for a better future of young Egyptian women and men of today for a better tomorrow.
What, in your opinion, is needed to ensure we progress at a faster, more constructive pace for female empowerment or women empowerment?
Role modeling is very important. Using technology is extremely important, and sometimes iconic, you know, like having the robot being introduced, or meeting the First Lady of Egypt, her meeting with the robot, and having that picture, that impactful picture, is that the society of Egypt or the state of Egypt is acknowledging the presence and having an impactful picture of Egypt First Lady and a walking robot there for everybody to see. It's a picture with a million words. It shows a lot. It shows that we respect technology, look at technology as an opportunity for a future for young Egyptian men and women, for women of the future. And having this done by the First Lady is an enhancement, an empowerment tool for females. So that's for me was a very, very impactful picture I looked at, and I still remember, you know, with having a smile on my face, always looking at, wow, that's the Egypt of tomorrow.
Media, since you were just saying when we looked at, media plays a very, very important role.
Of course.
How do you see media, the role media is playing in capturing and educating, especially the future generation, about the role of women, or the importance of the role of women?
Media in all of its forms. Regular, traditional media platforms, and more particularly social media platforms, digital media platforms, new media platforms, the new generation. So it's not about Facebook anymore, it's about Instagram. It's not about Instagram, it's about TikTok. It's about, so it's about other platforms that are all the time being introduced in our communities in different age groups. And it's important as adults to be aware that young children get more of information via certain media platforms than others. So we, as a more structured generation, we are looking at Facebook, for example, for news. You check Bloomberg via Facebook. But younger generation, they check via Instagram, or they get their news via Flickr, or via TikTok, via a movie, via a small picture. So it's not about the normal ways. So we have to adapt, because it's very important to look at the numbers of Egypt, at the demography numbers of Egypt. We are proud to say that we have reached, for example, a 28% women inclusion in parliament. But we have to look that Egypt is the demographic of Egypt. We're looking at a population where 35% of the population is under the age of 30.
Yes.
I like to give it more of an impact. So you're talking about nearly 35, it's not half, but 1/3 of the country is young. Yes. And half of that is under 18. So you're talking about nearly 20% is under 18 years of age. How can I talk? How can I use media, new forms of media, to talk at those young people under 18? So we don't talk to them in the same way we talk to each other, or our parents talk to us. We talk in a different way. So we have to be aware. We have to be constantly use big data information, big data analysis, to say how many young people look at that platform versus this one, and create content And that's a keyword here. The creation of content is extremely important. The content that is ready for that platform. So now, for example, when you say media, we don't use maybe TV stars anymore, but we use influencers. Who are those influencers? The regular people who have content that sounds appealing for a huge number of people of a certain age and of a certain social status. So this is the evolution of media that we have to look at, we have to respect, because it is there and it's a fact because of the demography. We're not a small country. We're a huge country, we're a big country with definitely a civilization and history to maintain, but a fantastic future to look forward to. So we cannot disregard a big chunk of our population saying that they are young, and then we remember them when they are over 25, but they have already been formed. So it's very important to look at the pre-school years, the informative years. How do we talk to children? What are the best ways to talk to young children? And that's maybe a session by its own, but it's very important to know what the message is, how to deliver this message, and to whom am I delivering this message? And to make young people, men and women, and in our situation and discussion here particularly young girls of Egypt, how can I talk to them to best put them on the correct path with all the right empowering, but at the same time with the right ethics and principles for the future, inshallah. Drama,
because drama is one of the strong public awareness and opinion influencers here in Egypt. The reason I'm raising the issue of drama is because Ramadan happens to be the drama season. How do you see drama contributing to developing the role of women in Egypt?
It's very important because drama, but again, for a certain demography. We are not talking, so drama, it talks to women, to families of certain ages. It's not talking to the very young people. That I have to maintain this point.
It's over 18 mostly.
Yes, yes, and over 18, and I would even go a little bit bolder and say over 25. And so the issue is, how do you maintain raising a situation in drama, like I was talking a little bit before now, talking about a picture is worth 1,000 words. So a drama is worth 1,000,000 words because you live within the drama of the story. And the whole idea is the drama. The drama moves your sentiment. And this is what social media does, you know. It moves the sentiment of the young people, it moves the sentiment of the receiver in order to interact with it. So drama, TV dramas, and particularly the dramas of the Ramadan season, it moves the society to start talking about a certain topic. A topic regarding to women, a topic regarding to women's rights, a topic regarding to a divorced lady's rights, a topic regarding to a widow with children, with children's rights, and so on. We go into feeling for the lady in question, for or against. You say, oh, that poor her, or oh, she shouldn't have done that, or the society shouldn't have treated her this way. Oh, that's interesting. How wasn't she aware of such an important law helping her? And this is what drama, it moves our feeling to do something about a situation. It moves us from a stale point. It just drives us forward. We have to find a solution for this.
Dr. Mai, do you think that there is something that a female is not capable of doing? For example, being a politician, for example. Did you feel that there was a resistance to your being present?
That's a trick question.
I mean, the reason I'm saying, because the role models, I mean, you can have right now young females that are watching the show that are even wondering, is it worth the challenge? Can I go in
always
and be a factor in, or a catalyst in change?
Of course.
What will I lose by doing this? Because there is a price to pay for everything, but is it a fierce battle? Is it a battle whereby cultural norms are really destructive, in your opinion?
I don't think that any battle is destructive. And I don't think that losing is an option in our life. I think when you lose a battle, you did not lose, you gained experience for a better battle next time, for a better way of doing things. This is very important. Something else is failure is not, or difficulty is not to keep you out of a situation, out of a profession. The difficulty that you meet in your life is maybe life's way or God's way to tell you, you don't need to go this way, you need to change a little bit your direction. For this is very important. And I like to give the example of iron coming out of being raw iron has no value, has no real value. Iron acquires its value once it's put in ovens and it's heated to very high temperatures. And for me, if I'm the iron and the high temperatures are the problems and challenges that I face as a human being.
To be burned, to be...
You're not burned. You get the challenges that makes you stronger, that makes you of value. Iron, you know, with temperature it changes into steel, and steel has so many uses. Iron in itself, it's not. So the challenges of being a politician, and then passion. Challenges and difficulties, and talking about challenges as a way to make you stronger is one point. And the other thing, what keeps you going is your passion, is knowing it's not, I don't wake up one morning and say, I want to be a politician. But you wake up in your young life and you keep saying, oh, I want to make this right better. I want to help in changing this. I want to be part of making this community better. Making small changes growing up and then dreaming of maybe one time being on that television screen. Talking about a topic with passion and with love. So passion is important. Once you have this passion, by the way, you cannot control it. It's like you are driven. And I once was talking to actually a politician in the United States, and he said, why are you doing what you do? I said, I just feel driven. I feel like I am on a carriage. And you know, when you start, I used to read historical romances growing up. And whenever there is this race of, or you want to race time, and people are on the carriage and, you know, exciting the horses to keep moving, this is how I feel. And this is, I'm sure, every driven person with passion feels towards their profession. I feel driven in a technology sector, I feel driven as a politician, as a social changer, as a women's advocate, as a doctor, as a scientist, as a rocket scientist, as a whatever it is that I want. So the passion is important, and knowing that challenges and difficulties are not a way to keep you out, but are an exciting actually lure to pull you in. You know, I can surmount this challenge.
If you were to challenge a legislation right now and say, we need to change this, if it was up to me, tomorrow I would change this law.
For me, I'm not thinking now of changing laws as much as I'm thinking of creating laws to regulate the new technology era coming in. Technologies in fintech, technology in cryptocurrency and digital currencies, technology in blockchain technologies for the future, jobs for the future. All of these, they need a lot of laws, the metaverse and laws for the metaverse. So I'm not really looking backwards to change, but other people are doing a fantastic job and are doing this all the time. I'm really looking at the future and looking at what can we do to regulate and make life more secure and easy and secure in the way of existence, not secure in the way of holding people backwards, but having our rights in a correct way for our children, for the future, for working in the future, working in the metaverse. Metaverse is a whole new world. working with new financial tools. How can we make sure we are secure in dealing with financial technology, with cryptocurrency, with...
Is there such a thing as 100% security or even 90% security?
No. No, it doesn't exist. Because to every secure door, there's a way to break it. And to every secure law, there's a way to break it. And the ways the laws are created is, they're created by man, by a human person. It cannot be 100%, but you create a law and then you discover that there is a loophole here, so you change it and you maintain, in order to maintain its function. The only way is to work on a law is to create it and start living through it and with it in that space, and then seeing the advantages and disadvantages that it created and change. That doesn't mean that people who have done it are wrong, but they haven't had the experience of living through it there. And so for me now, we have to make sure that the laws of the future are there. We have to work together locally and to work with the international community to make sure that the young people of our country and of the world, and having Egypt at the forefront of that, having Egypt with its legislators, with its thinkers, with its visionaries, and with the way the state is at the moment, it's at a very good point at looking at the future and making things happen. And we can lead the region and ultimately the world into, let's work together to make the future of technology, which is there, and it's, there is a word in English that doesn't exist in Arabic, by the way. It's called a disruptive change. Disruptive. So disruptive is an intrinsic change to our lives that happened through technology and communication. So how can we, within this change, make it better for tomorrow? So the laws, it has definitely to be writing the laws of the future, writing the laws of education within a metaverse, of politics within the metaverse, of entrepreneurs within the metaverse, within the cryptocurrencies. How can I be an entrepreneur and work with cryptocurrency for the better of my people, my society, and my country? How can I live in the virtual reality world and create income and create opportunity for myself, but maintain an ethical value of a human, a good Egyptian human living in cyberspace. There are values, and you know, studying about the future, they said it's very important for young people to know virtual trust. What is we needed to see each other, look into each other's eyes as people of our age to trust each other.
Yes.
But young people, they have virtual trust because they have played with each other, they have existed in the virtual space with each other, so they trust each other without seeing each other. And this will have its impact on business, on social, even, you know, relationships. This is the future, so this is what I'm looking for.
Dr. Mai, unfortunately our time is up. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad we're ending this show with a futuristic approach to things. Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very
fine
much.
Example of how far an Egyptian woman has come or have come. A pleasure to have you
Thank you
with
for
us.
your questions.
And I'd like to thank you, the viewers. We'll see you same time next week. Until then, good night.